wanted to answer a question about Bolivia as a country. This question came from one of our viewers in Australia. Thank you very much for that question, by the way. I will try to give you an answer as open and as honest as possible. Now, I don't know how much detail you want. Oh, by the way, I'm sitting in my car. I've seen all these other YouTubers do car videos for some reason. So I decided to give it a go. But for some reason, it doesn't really work as a soundproof booth for me. I don't know. Anyway, so Bolivia as a country. Bolivia is a wonderful country if and when you don't believe that the world owes you something. It can be a very harsh country. There is no social security, there is no unemployment, there is no social or state catch nets, if you want. Since a couple of years we have the universal healthcare, but it's still wise to have your own backup, because well, the National Health Service it is what it is. Let's put it that way. Bolivia is a country of keep calm and make do. Very much so. The reuse, recycle is not idle talk here. Like I said in my previous video, my car is 50 years old. My girlfriend's car is 45 years old. We just bought a truck, which is behind me, 52 years old. So it's not luxury, no luxury vehicles. There are, of course, luxury vehicles available, but they are very expensive. Now maybe that I will address in a future video on what my take on the whole homesteading thing is, financially, and how to prepare for it, and what are the do's and don'ts and that kind of thing. If that is, if there is interest for that, no? If there is somebody who wants to know about that. I don't want to force these things upon people either. So Bolivia is a wildly diverse country. You have everything from the very harsh altiplano, salt flats even, but the altiplano it's about 4,000 meters above sea level, about 12,000 feet above sea level. Then we have obviously the jungle, close to the Brazilian border, which is hot and humid. Then to the south of that we have the Chaco, which is very, very dry. It's like a bit like the Pampas, but dry, very barren. Not really a desert, but almost. And then we have where I am, Tarija, which is semi-arid. And here's Catarina. Tarija is cattle and wine country, so lots of cows, lots of wine, obviously. My neighbors here are the vineyard of Aranjuez, where they have the Bonarda grape, or their wine Pionero, which is actually a very nice wine. One of the better wines actually available in Bolivia. Bolivian wine, by the way, has nothing to envy to any of the Italians or French wines I've tasted. And I lived 4.5 years in Italy, and I had a friend who owned a wine bar, so I kind of do know what I'm talking about. Yes, Caterina, good girl. And so yeah, so that's Tarija. Now, do's and don'ts. Well, use common sense, really. Don't be the know-it-all gringo. That's basically common sense. Keep your politics for yourself. Politics and religion is a bit like underwear. It's very personal, and don't show it to people who don't want to see it. That's basically it. It's very intimate, it's very personal, And again, don't bother people with your political or religious views. Uh, Respect somebody else's views, but don't impose. Basically, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly why I'm saying religion and politics are like your underwear. There is a more raunchy version, but I will spare that. I want to keep this as respectful as I can. So, yes, Katerina. Yes, honey. Yes, yes, darling. Yes, good girl. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Now, is it easy to adapt to Bolivia? Like I said, if you don't think the world owes you, it can be done. But there are choices to be made. Amazon is not available. There, I said it. A lot of things that other people take for granted are almost impossible or completely impossible to come by. One example is Amazon. Another example is eBay. So a lot of internet shopping goes straight out the window. Alibaba and Wish and Shane and whatnot. It can be done. People do it, but it's by the container load. It's not the one parcel, if that makes any sense. And the tariffs, for a better word, on customs and all that are frightening. Yes, they are frightening. Speaking of tariffs, luckily we don't have any penguins in Bolivia. Yes, Katerina. Well, that's about all the politics I'm going to mention today. So, other than that, yeah, well, be yourself. Don't be antisocial, and on the same time, don't be too in your face. Don't be too pushy. Be part of the community. Help where you can. When there is a social gathering, when there is what they call here a kermesa, for the benefit of one of the community members who's fallen sick or who has an accident or has a bit of financial difficulty, people do organize a kermesa solidaria, which is like a solidarity fair, if you want. Participate in those. Now tomorrow they have the Feria de la Leche, so a milk fair. It's an annual event. Participate in those things. Be part of the community. Yet at the same time, don't be too in your face. Yeah. How was my job? Why did I come to Bolivia? Well, I think I explained that in my previous video. It was where the finger landed. Would I do it again? Oh, absolutely. Is it an easy country? Absolutely not. Is it worthwhile? Oh, absolutely. It's one of the most beautiful countries that I can think of. In 2019, I was in very dire financial straits and I had to go back to Europe to make some coin. And after 10 years in Bolivia, I just could not hack it anymore in Europe. I was in Ireland, and even though I loved Ireland, it was the first country I immigrated to in 1999. And Ireland still has a very warm place in my heart, as you can tell maybe by the slight brogue. I couldn't hack it anymore. I just could not stand Europe anymore. People complaining about not having Wi-Fi access on the bus, about USB ports not working. These are first world problems. Now, if you're the type of person who complains about first world problems, do yourself a favor, don't come to Bolivia. Or don't even homestead for that matter. Because in my book, homesteading is a lot about choices. There's this very romantic view about homesteading and pulling back from society and living in harmony with nature, and of course there is a big deal, there is a big part of that, and of course that is one of our goals, obviously. But a lot of people, I don't really know how to put this now. I have the impression that a lot of people go for the Christmas decoration homesteading. And what I mean by that is it glitters on the outside like a Christmas decoration, a Christmas ornament, like a Christmas ball for your Christmas tree. And it glimmers and it shines on the outside, and you take a coin and you start scratching and you end up with nothing inside. Yeah. Homesteading in itself is not as glamorous as a lot of people want to make you believe it is. It's not a party. It's hard work. It's trudging in the mud every morning to go feed the pigs. Again, I'm boiling potatoes on an open fire behind me just to save on gas, like liquid. The bottled gas, not the gasoline. It's upkeeping your property. It's tending the animals and pulling weeds and moving compost around and dealing with things that break down, and it's not all that glamorous. It's a choice you make. If you're not prepared to make those choices, then don't homestead. You can't have it all, in spite of what media and all that wants you to believe. You cannot have it all. Choices need to be made. So if you have a homestead, you don't travel. Sorry, that's the way it is. My girlfriend and I, we just went to Santa Cruz to have a look at the vehicle and come back with the vehicle. And that was 2 days. Now, 2 days for us felt like 2 weeks away from our homestead. Because we were constantly thinking, what are the animals doing? How are the pigs doing? How are the cats doing? How is the little dog? We've adopted a small dog. How is the vegetable patch doing? It sounds ridiculous. I know it sounds ridiculous, but those are things that are on your mind because that is your day-to-day life. Yeah, we eat from my vegetable patch, mainly. Yeah, we hardly ever buy any vegetables anymore. We have tomatoes in the garden, we have some turnips frozen, we have acelga, I'm losing the name now, pumpkins, sweet potatoes, onion, tomatoes, peppers, bell peppers that is, spiced chili peppers, sunflowers, a lot of vegetables, so we hardly ever buy any vegetables anymore. So yeah, that is a choice you make. And yes, it is nice to go out in the garden and harvest your vegetables, but before you get to that stage, there is a lot that needs to be done. And that is something that a lot of people tend to lose track of. And so before you start, before you even think about homesteading, the first thing you should think of is, how good am I at getting up in the morning? And this might seem a bit ridiculous, but this is a serious question. How good am I at waking up in the morning? How prepared am I to wake up in the morning and gather up the pig food, drag the bucket all the way to the pigs, trudge through the mud, feed the pigs, come back, feed the chickens, check for eggs, which is always nice. But yeah, sometimes you get attacked by the rooster or the duck, misinterprets your movement and thinks that you're harassing her babies, and she will try to attack you. Those are those are just part and parcel of homesteading, and that obviously not just in Bolivia, but all over. Yeah. So yeah. Think about what you want. Think about what you are willing to give up before you even consider homesteading. That's in Bolivia or anywhere in the world, I think. I hope that more or less answers your question. Again, if you want, or if there is an interest, I will elaborate a bit on how I did it financially. Here in Bolivia. But yeah, let's see how that goes.